friends, welcome to Madhvija. Here we talk about vaccination for a pregnant woman and a breastfeeding woman. By the way, all of you, we are going to talk about it from a border perspective. Kuch worldwide researches. There are few countries who are allowing few things. There are few countries like India where government is telling as if now don't take it. And there are a lot of different things. This is not the video to tell you go and take and not the video to tell you don't take. So it's either about giving you information. There are a lot of researches that we will be talking about. Few of the links of the researches that we are talking will be put those links in the description. So if anybody wants to genuinely go and check those paper, do go and read about it if you are actually a research based person. Let's get started. We have Dr. Neena Mansukhani with us, a practicing gynecologist. She always says, Shreya, I am not a COVID specialist, but she is somebody who is enthusiastic because her lot of patients have been through this stage and she loves to research and keep herself updated. Dr. Neena, I must tell you, this one thing makes me look up to you. Irrespective of so many years of practice, you're still keen to learn and keep yourself updated with the things. So
the day the day you feel you know it all, you're finished.
Okay, so I think that's the funda even I have to follow in my life. So that's something so important. So the first question when it comes to vaccination, Dr. Neena, what are the kind of vaccinations we have got and what actually vaccinations are made of?
A vaccine is a substance that you would subject an individual to in order to stimulate their immune system to produce another substance called as antibody, which will fight the antigen or the foreign particle coming in the body. The vaccine behaves like the foreign particle, but it's not really like the foreign particle. So when we are talking about a virus, for instance, the virus is actually going to get in your body and cause the disease. The vaccine imitates the virus, comes into your body, doesn't cause the disease, but stimulates your immune system. You produce an antibody against the virus so that when the virus is coming in, the virus is destroyed by the antibody which has already been produced in your body. So that is what a vaccine does.
So vaccine is basically a body preparation to fight for it.
Yeah, you're making the body prepared. It's like a training ground, but you're preparing the body, keeping those antibodies ready so that when the actual infection happens, it is not allowed to convert it into a disease.
Right. I think that's what vaccine is. Probably I understood first time in so much details. The second thing, what are the COVID vaccines? The different vaccine available, and is there any difference between all those vaccines?
So COVID is the SARS-CoV disease is caused by this RNA virus called as novel coronavirus. Now, this is an RNA virus. It gets incorporated into the host or the body's DNA and produces multiple small particles or virions, and they cause the disease. So, when you produce a vaccine to prevent COVID, we are producing two kinds of vaccines. One is actually three kinds of vaccines. So the first is an mRNA vaccine, which is what Pfizer and Moderna have done. They have produced a synthetic mRNA, which imitates the mRNA of the virus. This produces spike proteins in the body, which are the proteins through which the virus attaches to the host cell, and that these spike proteins produce a reaction to make the body believe that the infection is there and now produce an antibody against this. So that is what the mRNA vaccine does. The mRNA vaccine is a synthetic vaccine. It does not contain any viral particle and it is incapable of actually causing the disease in your body. The second kind of vaccine that we have is the AstraZeneca, Oxford, Sputnik, and in India, the Serum Institute called the Covishield. Right. Now, what this is doing is it's taking an already known virus, which is not very virulent. It's a known monkey virus called as adenovirus. It's innocuous. It's not capable of causing the disease. They put the spike protein of the COVID or the coronavirus on that.
Hmm.
That is again, so this now is becoming the new antigen or the foreign particle.
Right.
This is the vaccine which goes in. The spike proteins stimulate the immune system to produce antibodies against the COVID spike proteins, and that is how you have antibodies. So spike protein antibodies is what will be present in your body if you have Covishield vaccine taken. So this is the second type. The third type of vaccine is an actual dead, killed, or inactivated virus, which is the Bharat Biotech or the Covaxin.
Right.
Now, this is the virus has been inactivated in such a way that it cannot cause the disease, but it is enough to still cause an immune response in your immune system to produce antibodies. So these are the general vaccines that are going around.
Okay. So now the question comes, is the vaccine safe in pregnancy or breastfeeding? Or, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Or we can talk about the researches happen out of India and
Yeah.
what probably national belief system is right now from our government.
Yes. So I'd like to just start by saying that there is enough data to say in the US, a lot of women have been vaccinated. Over
Yes.
90,000 women have received the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine.
Right.
And the International Federation of Obstetrics, that is FIGO, says that it is very safe to give these two vaccines in pregnant women because it is they are not capable of causing the actual infection, but they do produce antibodies, and the efficacy is around 94-95%, which is wonderful actually. So if you're getting the Pfizer and the Moderna, it's absolutely a go ahead to take it. Don't only give it to high risk women, give it to everybody if the population in question is really at high risk of getting COVID, right? So initially it was used for healthcare workers and people dealing with COVID and people over the age of 45 and who were immunocompromised. But now they are saying give it to all pregnant women. Now we come to the second vaccine, which is the AstraZeneca. Now with AstraZeneca, they found that in about 20 million people who were given. Now I'm not particularly talking about pregnant women, but there's a general population of 20 million, among who 79 had a thrombosis or a clotting problem with thrombocytopenia and the platelet reducing.
Right.
They found that this was not a provoked phenomenon. It just happened by chance to these people.
Right.
None of these people had an underlying condition which could have precipitated this thrombosis, and it happened more so in younger people who were women. It did happen in the men as well, but it happened more in the women. When they actually converted it into proper numbers, they saw that it was just four patients in 10 lakhs. So 4 patients million, which is very minuscule, a very, very small problem compared to the safety that the vaccine is providing you. This problem seemed to be really small. Now we come to whether this vaccine has been adequately studied in pregnancy. So the answer is no. There haven't been adequate studies to say that the AstraZeneca Oxford Covishield vaccine is safe in pregnancy whatsoever. There aren't enough human studies. Okay, right. Animal studies have shown that there is no harm that can be done, but there aren't adequate human studies. But when you look at the risk that a pregnant woman has today, 1 in 3 and 1 in 4 people in a room is positive. Right? It's a huge risk that the pregnant woman is subjected to of having COVID, and of contacting COVID and then having repercussions based on it. Then WHO says, and the RCOG also says, that whenever the vaccine is taken into question, whether you should take, you should look at the risk-benefit ratio. What is the risk of her getting COVID and dying out of COVID and having severe disease out of COVID, getting onto the ventilator because of COVID, and what is the risk that she has by taking the vaccine? If the risk of her contacting COVID is far greater than her having any repercussions of taking the vaccine, they leave it up to the patient to take a decision and make a choice whether she wants to take it. So keeping in mind that we don't have adequate data. So then it comes under category B drug, where there are enough animal studies to prove that there is no harm, but there are no human studies to say that this cannot cause a harm in pregnancy. If you give a pregnant woman the choice, you leave it up to her to decide to take it. Now we come to the third vaccine, that is the Covaxin. So now Covaxin is an inactivated virus vaccine.
Right.
The Royal College of Obstetrics Gynae, WHO, FIGO, and the Joint Committee for Vaccination and Immunization in the UK, and even one of the centers in India has said if the risk of a pregnant woman contacting COVID is extremely high, then she should make an informed choice and take the vaccine. Now, inactivated viral vaccines are usually being given in pregnancy. We are giving hepatitis. We're giving the diphtheria. We're giving influenza, which is H1N1, H3N2, that is influenza A, influenza B. We are giving these vaccines routinely to pregnant women.
Yes.
In fact, the Royal College of Obs and Gynae has said you can give an influenza vaccine even in the first trimester.
Right.
Putting that logic into place, if you're giving an inactivated virus vaccine to a woman, she will only be able to produce an immune response. She will not get the disease. Because the virus, the inactivated vaccine has not been tested enough. So Government of India right now has put pregnant and breastfeeding women on hold, not to take the vaccine and not to be included in the 18 plus people who were liable to, who were, okay to take the vaccine. So I do feel that there, and the FOGSI, which is the Federation of Obs and Gynae in India, has given a go ahead and said that if the risk is very high, the pregnant woman should make an informed choice and know, Baba, there aren't enough studies, but because my risk is so high, I'm going to opt and take this vaccine, knowing fully well that there aren't enough studies. She has to be given a choice to decide what she wants to do. Like just yesterday, I had a patient who said, I'm going back to work and I definitely want to take the vaccine. So an informed choice made and with the proper consent is her choice to then take the vaccine. I'm sure the government will change very soon when more data and more studies are coming, because that is the need of the hour right now.
Right.
Have to provide protection to 50 million pregnant women in India. You can't not give them protection against this because they are dying. There are mishaps due to it. And it's a large number. It's a large number of women. You got to realize we are a young country. Majority of our crowd is less than 45. And this involves pregnant women as well. So putting all this logic in place, I do feel that it is fairly okay to at least take the inactivated virus vaccine, which is Covaxin. Yes, it seems logical to take it, but you have to live with the law of the land. And when they say yes, that is when we can freely say yes.
Right, that's true, that's true. But ma'am, I have a question. There are few people who say that after taking vaccine also they are getting positive. So
that is very good. See, what is happening is the vaccination started in January, and before you could actually finish the second dose and get immunity, the actual immunity develops 15 days after the second dose. So that is when the actual immunity comes in. Before that, the second wave has come in March, and which is what has happened. The efficacy of the vaccine is 65% to 70% to 90% in preventing the infection, but that is after the second dose, provided you have taken 2 doses. So obviously it is not so efficacious in preventing the disease, because by then you have been exposed to a virus which is already mutated, and this is a variant of the virus, so you're not fully immune to it. Obviously you get the disease then, and then you blame it on the vaccine. Say, what did the vaccine do for us? The vaccine is only going to do something when you have finished 2 doses. Secondly, people who have been properly immunized have known to have a much milder variant and less chance of hospitalization, much milder form of the disease, much less chance of hospitalization, much less chance of passing it on to others.
So the severity is far less, even if by any chance you're going to catch on it.
Yes, most certainly.
That makes it, I think, very, very clear. So make an informed choice, understanding how much risk you have got, and against it, what choice you're going to make. So that's going to make things very clear. Now the second part, can a breastfeeding mother be vaccinated?
I think we come to the same thing. The chances of, if a COVID positive mother can breastfeed, then why should a patient not be vaccinated during breastfeeding? Right. So with being COVID positive, you're passing on the antibodies. If you're being vaccinated, also you're going to pass on the antibodies to the baby. The question is, when people don't believe that the vaccine, people don't believe that this vaccine is not going to give me the disease. They feel this vaccine is going to give me the disease. It is not going to give you the disease. There's zero chances of you having the disease with an inactivated viral vaccine. So
Okay.
regarding Covishield, it is a little doubtful because it has been recommended that the AstraZeneca, I would not say should not. It's not been completely studied adequately
Uh-huh.
to say it is safe in this pregnant population,
So
less
we
than
are
40
still
years.
going through the
There is
research, and
going, yeah, there are still studies being done on it.
I think the way she said, which was very wise to understand that uh, it's still under research. So for a breastfeeding mother or for a pregnant lady is still under research. But still, if you are at a high risk, then it's co-vaccine is something that we can make an informed decision.
See, this is what I understand, and this is my logic, which I'm putting across to you. And
Right,
from whatever I have read and whatever data I have researched,
right.
I am not an authority on COVID. I'm not a
That's all right.
virologist. I'm just saying from my basic medical knowledge, what I feel seems to be logical to follow. I'm not
That's true.
making rules either. So I can't tell you
Right.
for a sure thing, yes or no. That only you
100%.
can decide how much at risk you perceive yourself to be. If you think you're really at risk, everybody is positive around you, you're going daily to work, you're dealing, suppose you're a dialysis technician, you're working with dialysis patients who are COVID positive, you're working in a ward which is highly COVID positive, you obviously can deem your risk really high then. So, and you're pregnant.
100%.
So either
Right.
you sit at home, and then people are saying we're not safe at home. So you have to figure out your risk and make a choice. And
Yes, I think that's very, very important. So make your own personalized, informed choice. I have a last question about it, Dr. Nina. By any chance, if I am a breastfeeding mother and if I take the vaccine, say I work in an OT, I work with patients full day, and I chose to take vaccine. It's my personal decision. And with this belief, what you have said, there is no human lot of data available with us. But I
yes,
just counted my risk ratio and I took decision. Should I stop breastfeeding my baby just because I took vaccine?
never, never, never. That's it. Never. If you're COVID positive and you can breastfeed, you can take the vaccine and breastfeed. The vaccine is only going to produce antibodies in your body.
Yes, that I think makes things clear for all of us. So, mamas, be peaceful. If you're not at risk at all, wait. Government guidelines are coming. I think every day, they being doctors and we being citizens, every day there is some new paper is going to come. This new things we have found out about COVID, and we are
So
going to upgrade.
I'm very certain it will change and change for the better. My request is till then, keep the mask on, really keep the mask on. Don't feel COVID will not happen to me. It is a reality, it's not a political gimmick. I mean, people are dying, you've seen it, you've seen the visuals, I don't even need
Yes,
to say it. It's like cancer. Until cancer happens to you, you feel, mujhe nahi ho sakta, nothing is going to happen to me.
that's true.
Similarly, I would say COVID is the new cancer. You feel it's not going to happen to me until it strikes you.
So
Stay
basically,
safe.
don't take it lightly.
Yeah,
Don't
please
take it.
stay safe and be safe. That's it.
Probably, I think this is a request from both of us. Take care of yourself and make informed choices. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Neena, for I think speaking your heart out on this. For
Yes,
all of you, the research papers and the WHO research and these things that she spoke, links I will be putting in description. So please go ahead and read it, understand things. It's not like that ki US vaccines are different and India vaccines are different. The base of vaccines remains the same.
in fact, the US vaccine is a bit different, the Pfizer one, but now I believe even that is coming to India. That is coming.
Okay.
So that is what they have said. If that is the case, then absolutely safe to take Pfizer. We have adequate studies to prove it.
Brilliant. So sooner, I think the way she said, sooner we're going to get the Pfizer vaccine or the safest vaccine available to India also. And then I think the way she said, India government is going to
You
open
need
it
a
up.
papa, you need a stamp to say yes.
Yes. And then I think Indian government will be opening it up for pregnant ladies and a breastfeeding mother. Till then, be informed, keep raising, keep growing, and hold on to two things, which I think Dr. Nina holds, even I holds. Hold on to your faith, hold on to the things which you can do. That's mask, right nutrition, wash your hands, do your pranayama, and maintain a positive attitude.
And distance.
Oh, sorry. And the distance that you have to maintain. So basically, just take care of these things and live absolutely healthy and happy. Thank you so much, Dr. Meena, for this
Thank,
amazing talk.
thank you.
Thank you so much, all of you viewers. Have a great time and
Bye
bye.
bye.